Okay. Hey guys, how's it going? Am I live? I was using StreamYard to broadcast yesterday on my Cantonese platform on Facebook and on YouTube simultaneously. I was using StreamYard, not Haps. And I realized the lag time was more than 20 seconds. It was really bad. It was really bad. Like I was talking on a topic and it took people at least a minute to a minute and a half to respond to it. Boom! Hey, Billy D. Hey, Craig, how's it going, everyone? I was just complaining about this other platform that I'm using. Hey, Al, how's it going, Al? And about the latency. I think this is a problem. This is a common problem for multi-casting platforms. Doesn't matter if it's OBS, StreamYard, Haps, or Prism. I think there's just a bandwidth issue when it's going on different platforms. I don't know the term for it, technical term for it, but yeah, what's going on over there? Yeah, let's talk about Clubhouse. Hey, Carlo. So any of you have heard of Clubhouse or have signed up for Clubhouse or have used Clubhouse? Tell me about it, or if you want to join in the conversation, I'm more than happy to invite you. Hey, Pablo, and hey, Peter, and hey, Carlo. Thank you for following. So it's interesting because one, it was trending in the States, and I talked a little bit about it, but today Elon Musk was also on the app having an interview with I think it was the CEO of Clubhouse. So the whole app was like overwhelmed to the point that it was just lagging and people got kicked out and all that. So a lot of people were talking about Clubhouse because Elon Musk was in there for maybe an hour or so. Let's host a room on the downfall of Periscope. Yes, I'm about to do it. Do a room with Dave, and maybe Al, you can chime in as well. Heard of it from Max, right? It'll be bigger than Elon Musk. Well, what I want to talk about Clubhouse today is not so much the Elon Musk thing, because they were talking about going to Mars, rocket science, and all that kind of stuff, right? CEO of Robinhood was there. Yes, correct. I didn't listen to the conversation, so I don't know anything about it. What I want to talk about is how I am seeing Japanese folks creating rooms, and I have been participating in many Cantonese speaking rooms that are created by these Hong Kong people for the past few days. So it's an interesting trend. What's happened? Like, first few days of going into Clubhouse, it's all like the marketers, right? Grant Cardone, Gary Vee, how to make $1 million, how to grow how to make like 7 digits, 7 figures income. How do you up your Instagram game? It's all those like social media, digital marketers, and all that, right? And then there's another community of Black people with their Black topics, and that's fine, right? But I tried chiming into a room or two on the topic of mostly Asia related, because that's what I'm a little bit more educated on. But since the day before, I noticed that there has been people creating these rooms from Hong Kong, and they're in Chinese and they're speaking Cantonese. I'm like, how did Hong Kong people pick up on this app already? And I noticed that there's a lot of people who are from the tech industry, from the startup industry. So these are people who used to work in Silicon Valley, and now they're doing like startup gigs in Hong Kong, or maybe they're what do we call those, expats, right? So they're very active in the tech community in Hong Kong, and because they know about this app from, I don't know, like their tech friends back in the States. So now they've decided to use it, and they started creating these rooms, and now they're talking in Cantonese with different topics from why are girls in Hong Kong so mean, or why are guys in Hong Kong so useless, to some startup stuff because of Jane Manchun Wong. That name sounds familiar, but I can't. Jane Manchun Wong. Manchun Wong. Who? Can you write Chinese? Hey, Dave. Wow, Dave's watching this from YouTube. I'm surprised how popular it is in Japan. Yeah, and I have seen Japanese rooms as well. So it's definitely picking up, specifically in, at least on the Hong Kong side of things, right? The tech, the startup, the media community. I also see a lot of podcast hosts, radio DJs, maybe some social media like YouTubers. The girl who broke the news that Periscope was closing. Oh, but that was a few weeks ago, no? And she was doing, was she talking in English or in Cantonese? I don't. Oh, the girl who broke the news about Periscope was closing in Clubhouse. Elon Musk today was awesome. I think someone was also talking about him. And I know it's a Clubhouse thing, so I don't think there's going to be a replay of it. So you have to tell me how amazing he was, because I listened to his podcast with Joe Rogan, and I think he was on his show twice. And I find him very hard to listen to. So I know this Peter Chang or Yang guy who used to work in Twitter, he was raving about him. Anyway, she was promoting the Hong Kong rooms like crazy. Interesting. Oh, okay. All right. That's good to know. I'll check into this Manchun Wong person. You can find the replay on YouTube. With the Elon Musk, I hope they have a replay for it, because that would be nice to just listen to. But the rooms were jammed, and they have overflow rooms, and I think they're just playing it from a speaker, so you're hearing this emptiness in the sound. So the audio wasn't perfect, and then I had to work anyway, so it was difficult for me. But honestly, after being actively on the platform for the past couple of days, especially when I get to speak in Cantonese, I think it's kind of growing on me, you know? It's kind of growing on me because it also involves talking, right? So well, obviously I like talking, but at the same time, I can chime into these topics in these rooms that are made by the Hong Kong people, and it felt, I had this sense of belonging, you know? It's not that I don't enjoy speaking in English, but again, this is always going to be a second language that I'm using, and sometimes I just lack the vocabularies, or I don't know, like I can't make references as easy as a native speaker can when it comes to English. But when it comes to Cantonese, right, my native language, hey, Noel, I was very into what the people were saying. I was like, okay, are they making sense? Why are they creating these rooms? You know, I was comparing with how they were having conversations among themselves compared with the English speakers. And then I also saw a room that had these two weird Japanese people in there just kind of trolling the moderators. It was kind of funny. This guy would just mumble some Japanese words, and somehow the moderator didn't like demote him and muted him. So like when someone was talking about what makes him feeling alive. You hear this sound in the background. It's just like talking Japanese mumble jumble, right? Daisuki manga, One Piece, matcha, or something like that. When are guys starting the room? Dave, so my schedule for this week is getting a little bit more stable. So I definitely want to jump into a call with you and see how we can create this in a way that we can get our people to at least be in there. Because I'm smelling them. I guess I'm smelling some smoke. People around the house are burning. This is the burning season. This is what I hate, living out at the rural area. But we haven't decided on a date yet, Al. My point is. So, yeah, so I definitely want to try Clubhouse with you guys. And I think the topic should be on. Hey, Dave, are you okay to jump in to this broadcast and talk about it? And also, Al, do you want to jump in? Or I'm just going to invite you. And if you can jump in. Wait, how do I do this? Invite. Smell of. Wait, huh? By the way, have you guys seen Bobby lately? I don't think I have seen her in Haps for some weird reason. It's because this broadcast is lit. Hey, Melbourne, how's it going, Brett? Spokane? I can't at the moment, but next time, no problem. Yeah, so in fact, I think I was so drawn into doing Clubhouse, I definitely haven't been using much of Facebook because I have stuff that I need to do there. And I can't remember the last time I scoped. I think it was 3 days ago. She was on your broadcast. Which one? Thanks for the super hearts, man. Appreciate it. Spokane. Thank you. Spokane. Where's Spokane at? Sorry, you need to educate me on these cities. I'm from Chiang Mai, which is Thailand. So you get it, right? I don't know all the places in the world. There has been a military coup in Myanmar. Right, so that's the news, right? Aung San Suu Kyi, I don't know how you say it in English, but it's a Burmese name anyway, so it doesn't matter if I butcher it in English. She's being detained by the military coup. I don't think there's much news about why or how, but it's definitely in the headlines of a lot of news. And I think there were a couple Clubhouse rooms that were talking about this headline news as well. 250 miles east of Seattle. Okay, I see. I'm in Asia right now, so it's almost midnight. It's 11 o'clock. Aung San Suu Kyi. Yeah, but how do they call her in Burmese? That's the thing I want to know. The world headquarters of e-commerce. Right. So I don't know if you guys know, but I have been to Burma multiple times over the past 5 years since my wife had a job. She's still working on it, but she won't be able to go back anytime soon. But I've scoped about it. I did a trip with Josh, my partner in crime. There were some funny incidents of it. My impression of, I also did a couple whole interviews in Burma, in Myanmar. One of the guy was a book writer, and unfortunately he passed away shortly after I interviewed him. I think it was a heart attack or anything. But I have a lot of fond memories of Myanmar. Burmese people I spoke to called her Suki. Yeah, so there's different pronunciations of it. Your husband is Burmese. He came to the U.S. in 1975. Really, Barbara? Interesting. How old was he when he went to the States? One thing that's interesting about Myanmar right now, or Burma, depending on what you want to call the country, they go by both names, is there's a group of people called the repats. So there's a big migration. I don't know, like maybe 10, 20, 30 years ago. I don't know the history of it. And these people went to different countries, Australia, USA, Canada, right? And so now the kids have grown up, or the parents have kids. And so there's a portion of these people who left the country, 10, 20 years ago. And now they're actually going back because they want to start business and they want to like go back to their roots and all that. And I remember going into one of these burger joint, and it was run by one of these repats. So the owner spoke English fluent, and she also spoke Burmese. I don't know how she learned it, but there's a lot of these repats. Yeah, I think they call them repats, and they're starting to like do businesses in a Western, more systematic way to build the country because it's very underdeveloped, and it's only been like picking up. Uh, as entrepreneurs. Yeah, he was 12 years old. I thought Spokane is made up city on TV shows, right? Yeah. So it's a very strange vibe in Myanmar because I remember the first time going, and the last time I was there was about like maybe 3 years apart. And every time I go in, there's something new that's happening. The buses in the city of Yangon or Rangoon, where these buses they bought from Japan or Korea, these secondhand buses, and they were like old, 20, 30 years old, and they don't even like scrape the signs or the advertisement in the buses. So like it's like Korean language written on it, or there's Japanese characters written on it. I think I was scoping on a train. There's a train in the city. It's a looping train, and it was a Japanese train. And I remember Keizo was also in that scope, and I was shooting part of the interior of the train because it had the location, the city of the origin of this train. So everything was very old, and they were bought from neighboring countries in Asia. And so this was Myanmar the first time I went there. They had a taxi sharing app called Grab as one of the biggest platforms in Asia. And so we have it for many years, and well, not many years, but we have it for quite some time in Thailand. And they were just launching in Myanmar, right? And I remember like waiting at the airport, and I see the Grab taxi driver would just keep circling around the place trying to look for me. And I realized that because the app was a very new thing, most of the taxi drivers, they don't know how to operate the app. So you can't call them, you can't text them because they can't read English. So unless they figure out where to pinpoint my location, which was indicated in the app already, a lot of times you just have to stand there and hope they know how to use the app, and most drivers didn't know how to use the app. But fast forwarding, like just a couple of years, I think I went there 4 or 5 times within 2 to 3 years. And the last time I was there, and this was 2 years ago, all the buses were changed. So they bought a whole fleet of new buses from China to replace the older secondhand ones from Japan or Korean, right? Or Korea. And so the fleet of buses that they use to travel, I don't know, like in different areas of the city, that's on you. In fact, Dave was in Myanmar. Wait, I met Dave in Myanmar. Did I not? Did we not? Dave? Hey, Dallas. I think we had a meetup in Myanmar for like one time. Or is it my memory working on me? No, we had a drink. Did we not, Dave? Shit, so much happened. Like these past few years, I went to so many places, and all these meetups. It's getting all mashed up. Was it? It has to be you. Who else would travel to Southeast Asia? I don't know if Dave is still watching. Iced tea at the Strand. Right, right. We scoped it. We scoped it. That was one of the many trips that I went to, and Dave was happened to be in Myanmar. I think he's not watching this anymore. And I think some of you guys might have seen that scope, right? I was drinking alcohol. I don't think he might be drinking iced tea. I don't remember our choice of drinks, but I'm 90% sure it was at the Strand, which is a colonial five-star hotel, very, very famous in Yangon or Rangoon, used to be the capital of Myanmar. And yeah, we met up. We definitely met up. Yeah, thank you, Noel. Right, but that was so many years ago. So anyway, so and so there were also people talking about what happened in Myanmar in Clubhouse today, but it was more from a Hong Kong person perspective. The culture shock. They were complimenting on the people being nice. I saw it. I also had iced tea at the Strand 05. Really, Richard? Wow. Yeah. Right. Thanks for reminding me. Man, I need to go back to Twitter and download all these travel scopes before they shut it down because I feel like my brain is not remembering things well, and I might just forget these things, and it's such a pity if I can't recall the experiences and all that. Um, anyway, so nobody is commenting on Clubhouse, and I suppose you guys are neither not interested or you don't know what it is about or you don't care about it. I just want to see the numbers of viewership from the Periscope app. I see 21 numbers, so that's okay. That's not too bad. But if you're still watching on Periscope and if you don't know about this, the app is going to shut down at the end of March. And so I will still be streaming, but it will be on Twitter. So you have to follow me on Twitter, John M. Ho, if you want to get notified. Or my YouTube channel, which is John Ho. Haps is a platform that we're using to broadcast. If you are a broadcaster, it's also a pretty interesting app to be using. But so far, I've talked to people who just watch my scopes, and they don't seem to have a lot of compliment on Haps as a viewing platform. But it's interesting seeing the things that I'm doing on social media. Good night, Brett. And Codies. Hey, Jude. And I just keep asking myself, like, when Periscope shuts down, and I know most people are not going to be on Haps, and I'm not going to be favored with the algorithm on Twitter when I go live, how many people are left watching my whole chats, my whole travels, my whole interviews, right? I don't know. I really don't know. And I have to start asking, okay, is it worth the effort of keeping on and scoping, day after day after day after day? I enjoy this. I don't expect great financial returns, but I do feel happier if the viewership is off a certain amount. You're curious about this, about what specifically, and so I'll be in withdrawal mode. I mean, I don't go into Periscope, the app, to watch scopes anymore because, to be honest, there's really not much interesting things happening in there. It's just a whole feed of news outlets, right? And people, I don't know, like, I mean, I still have the people I follow and they're still streaming there, but the main feed is just like, I don't know what to think about it. Okay, I got some cleavage. That's nice, I guess. 372 viewers. There's a lot of like news outlets. There's another lady at me on Snap. Okay, so she's trying to get sexy or something, I suppose. Shutting Periscope. True Haps never notifies me on time. Right. Periscope shutting. Feeling gets hurt. Feeling gets hurt. Whose feelings are getting hurt? Jude. Um, yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of people still streaming using Periscope, or I'm guessing they're just like Twitter live stuff. But the curation has been so terrible that I have lost all interest to go watch any of the broadcasts over there, right? I mean, at least the people that I follow on Periscope, a lot of them have migrated to Haps. So if I were to click on Haps, I would be able to see who's streaming and all that. We all get hurt, pal. Yeah, I guess. Right, right. So um, this is the problem with latency. I think you're commenting on something I said 20 seconds ago, and because my conversation is moving forward continuously, when you make a comment, I have to go back and try to recall what I said 20, 30 seconds ago. And my brain is like, oh man, how do I do this? You know, it's frustrating. It's frustrating. Trust me. It's not that I don't want to engage with what you're commenting. It's just sometimes I'm already on a different topic, and you know what I'm saying? Yeah, right. Um, Regular followers will show up to watch new replays. I hope so. Well, I really hope so. I mean, I've developed a lot of good friendship with a lot of broadcasters here. And there's a lot of viewers who have been watching my scopes for so many years. As much as I want to tell them, hey, go check out my presence in Clubhouse, or I don't know, maybe follow me on Instagram. It's just not the same, because this live stream broadcasting, right? It's such an intimate, you know, conversation. You can see me and you can hear me, and it's a long form, you know. There's also Twitch. Some are migrating there. Gunnar, you are correct. And I also have a Twitch account. I just don't link it up. I don't know, for whatever reason, right? And that's the thing, right? Because Periscope is shutting down, and people are going on separate ways. Some decide to switch to Twitch. Some decide to just stay in Twitter Live because they don't care about Facebook or YouTube. Some people like me, like a lot of the Periscopers, are switching to Haps because you can, like, we can, like, it's kind of like a shelter for the Periscopers, you know? We don't have anywhere to go. Like, we don't feel like we belong to the YouTube community. We don't feel like we belong to the Twitch community, but at least there's not enough people here to overwhelm us on Haps. So maybe we can call this our platform. We can, I don't know, we're not going to call ourselves the Happers or anything, right? But I click on the list of people broadcasting, and I see familiar faces, and I'm like, yeah, this is our place. I can do stuff here, and this is comfortable, you know. It's a very sentimental feeling, but hey, we're humans, right? Dan the man says we're screwed. I'd rather use Periscope till it's done. No, like Motzi, you know, I totally get it, and I understand the problems with Haps. As a viewer, I do not enjoy watching live streams on the Haps platform. And it's not that the founders and the tech guys don't know about it; they're working on it. But they can't make the platform better like overnight, right? So it's but then what else can we do? Yes, and if you're not a broadcaster, I think the frustration right now is because people like me were switching to another platform because we need to get used to this and we want to multicast, right? We don't want to be sticking around in Periscope because we know it's closing down. You guys have to suffer because of the latency, right? And I feel bad. I feel bad that we had a very good platform. Well, we had a good platform. I won't say it's very good. That had this feature. It's this very simple feature, which is maybe 1 to 2 seconds of latency. That's about it, right? They managed to tweak the latency to 1 to 2 seconds, and that was the edge that Periscope had, and they just flush it down the drain. You know, horrible. The app is coming to an end. A lot of good relationships will be lost. Well, I mean, it's up to us to really reach out to people you feel like you want to connect with them on a deeper level, right? So I have fellow Periscopers that I talk to them on messengers, on IG DMs and all that. So, hey Deb, and so, I mean, you got to be proactive about these things. If you have a favorite broadcaster and they're going to be gone or they're leaving, right? I receive DMs from my Twitter, from my Instagram, from Periscope viewers, right? They talk to me, they say hi, they wish me Happy New Year, happy birthday, and people are really proactive to connect with their favorite broadcasters, right? So I encourage you to do the same thing, and I think this is the best thing, or what has really kept me going. The people that I have no idea who they are, from all walks of life, right? From cities that I haven't heard of, and I don't know what jobs you do, but sometimes I see someone commenting. I don't recognize the handle, but they say, "I've been watching your scope for a few years. I remember that scope or that thing you did." And someone was asking me like, "Oh, what about Masterclass? Like, are you still watching Masterclass?" So people, I don't know. Like, it's weird. It's weird for a broadcaster to develop these kind of relationships with people I have no idea who they are. It's so weird. It's so weird. And I'm about to do something similar with maybe Clubhouse, with other platforms, right? So we'll see. We'll see. In the meantime, I'm glad there's still people watching. The conversation is scattered, but I'm happy that people are still commenting and people are still coming back. I wish I could go out more and do more walking scopes. Maybe this kind of whole chat format is not as appealing as when I were in Hong Kong and I would just be like streaming, the traffic, being in the subway, the skyscrapers, the madness, and all that. And I definitely know I have been slacking off since I have a big project and 2 kids. But hey, I try, right? Remember Yo Pickles? Yo Pickles used to be teaching English in Korea as an American, right? And she was big about tattoos. And so that was what, like 5 years ago, Hola, how's it going? And today I saw her on Haps. Due Chinese Japanese. I'm Chinese. I'm Chinese. I think you're speaking Spanish, and then you're asking me if I'm Chinese or Japanese. I might be wrong, but yeah. And wait, or is that French? Anyway, hola. Hola is not French. Hola is Spanish, probably, or Portuguese. Anyway, so Pickles, Yo Pickles, is now residing in Australia. She got married, I think. She was pregnant, and now she has a baby, right? And I was watching her scope, I was watching her broadcast, and I could see it in her eyes, how much more she wants to do, but how limited she was because she's now a mother of a baby who demands like 90% of her time to just feed him, to just bathe him, to just like play with him, to just like all kinds of like mundane stuff, right? So as a broadcaster, like we were trying really hard and we're still trying, but circumstances are different, right? The prospects are different. And so I feel sad, to be honest. I feel sad witnessing the shutdown of the platform, um, seeing, like less and less people doing interesting things. And I feel sad about myself not pushing harder to do better content, do better live stream content, right? So, but hey, it's life. It's life. It's life. Yeah. Okay. So I was hoping there would be some interest in Clubhouse, but unfortunately, nobody's asking any questions about it. So I guess I will conclude this, um, and maybe next time when I have a better person to interview, or when I'm going out, I'll do a better job scoping. Yeah, or I'll pick a different topic. We'll see. We'll see. All right. Anyway, I'll see you around. You guys take care, and have a great day. Bye bye.